Hi everyone, Dr. Crowley here, and this is our end of the week video in which I'll be speaking with you for a few minutes about some of the early efforts that have come in for assignments 7 and 8. I also want us to think a little bit about some of our ongoing values for writing and how the work we have done this week will begin to connect to the work that we will undertake next week. Okay, so let's just talk about a few things. And as always, do make sure you are taking good notes throughout these videos and that you reference these notes as you go through your work over the rest of the week or into the next week as well. All right, so first let's think a little bit about where we have been with our quiz for Step 7. Step 7 is the quiz over material that is presented on pages 40 through 47 of a writer's resource. This material is largely concerned with planning and shaping writing projects. One of the things we need to be aware of is that in college, the writing projects you undertake will require much more planning than the projects you undertook in high school. Hopefully that's the case. If not, then you're not getting what you're paying for. So we want to make sure that we are engaged and challenged and developing in response to the writing assignments we receive while in school. So we are thinking a little bit about what we might call the writing process. We're thinking of writing as a process. And we want to just be aware of the basic steps for that process. And these are things you want to write down and have on hand for our future conversations. When we think about the writing process, the first step is finding a quiet place to work. A quiet place where you can focus and work without distractions. This could be the library at the university. It could be a quiet room in your house. Whatever it is, it's a place you actually have to go physically find and get and take and use. And be aware that no one will probably provide it to you just because it's something that you have to go and make use of. So we want to be in that quiet place. That's step 1. Step 2 is we need to make sure that we understand the assignment. If we don't understand the assignment and just engage the assignment in any way we think might be right, we are likely to get very frustrated and we are likely to waste a lot of time. So we need to make sure we understand the assignment before we get too far with it. And when that means you need to be reaching out for help, guidance, clarification, when and if that's the case. Now, a number of you have been doing that with me, and that's been great. I've been getting more and more emails with students asking me questions for clarification or explanations or extra, consultation, and that's perfectly fine. That's the exact right thing to happen. But we need to be aware that if we are not understanding the assignments, then we won't be able to succeed with them. The third thing we want to be aware of is the need to perform some invention techniques or outlining, basically pre-writing or outlining before we get into our writing project. And that's something we've been thinking about a lot this week. That's really constituted the work for the week with assignments 7 and 8. But there's always a phase where we are organizing our thoughts before we start to write. The next step is the drafting phase, and we might think of this as the writing phase. It's when we're actively trying to get the words down that we need for our assignment. A lot of stuff has to happen before the writing begins. We need to be aware of that. The quiet spot, the understanding the assignment, and the taking the time to outline our ideas. The next step is a relatively fun one. We need to take a break. We need to get away from our writing. We need to clear our heads so that when we come to the final steps, we have a fresh set of eyes to look at it. So I recommend that students, have dinner, go for a walk, talk with some friends, walk the dog, do whatever you're going to do to clear your head for a little while and then come back to the assignment. And that's when we edit the assignment. Editing the assignment is the next step. And when we edit, what we're doing is we're asking ourselves, how well does the material that I put down match up with what the assignment was asking me to do? We need to review, we need to make changes if we realize that what we produced isn't exactly in line with the assignment. The final step is the proofreading step. And that's when we think about things like grammar and syntax, and also some of our basic values for writing as we have reviewed them so far this semester. So writing in multiple paragraphs, citing the text at least once per paragraph, making sure the language is formal, making sure that you're using expanded vocabulary, making sure that you have complex syntax, making sure that you are citing those kinds of things before we submit. And that basic process, which we will become more familiar and comfortable with over time, is fundamental to the work you'll do this semester. This week, with assignment 7, we were thinking a little bit about pre-writing and invention techniques. And then in assignment 8, you were actively putting those techniques into practice as you were attempting to address essay 1. You weren't actually writing essay 1 yet, but what you were doing is starting to organize some thoughts that relate to essay 1. So we've been doing that. And that's been the bulk of the work this week. It's been a rather straightforward week, I hope you have found. As we get into next week with assignments 9 and 10, we will start to write the essay. Okay? What we're doing right now is we're getting our thoughts together, we're collecting our ideas so that when it's time to write the essay, we're in a good position to do so. All right? So that's what we've been focusing on. That's what people are addressing right now in the class. The average grade, I think, right now for the quiz for step 7 is 100. So people are doing very well. And I'll have comments back to you on your pre-writing within the next few days, certainly by Monday. Okay? So that's where we are. If there are questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know. Very happy to help, and I hope that you have a great weekend. I hope you're able to enjoy the sunshine somewhat this weekend, because we are at that time of year, folks, where the sunshine will soon be diminishing quite dramatically. So we want to make use of the sunshine when we have it. All right, have a great day, and I look forward to hearing from you. Bye.